Hello, welcome to match reaction here on the Rangers Rabble Viaplay League Cup final. Rangers 1, Celtic 2. The better team on the day won the game. Rangers weren't up to it for 65 minutes. The manager's selections were wrong. The passing was non-existent. There was no urgency. Ben Davies probably man of the match. Connor Goldson nowhere near it. Borna Barisic nowhere near it. Tavernier nowhere near it. Midfield nowhere near it. Kent nowhere near it. Sakala nowhere near it. Alfredo Morelos probably out with Davies the best of a bad bunch, and he was really nowhere near it either, apart from he reacted well for his goal. There is no positive slant on this reaction. We responded well once the manager made the substitutions, but by then it was too late. We were chasing the game. We were leaving big gaps at the back, and at the end, the scoreline could have been greater. The first half, the scoreline could have been greater. All round, terrible day. The manager takes the majority of the blame, but the players take some blame themselves. But that was horrendous. So yeah, welcome. I'm glad that quite a lot of you have decided to come and watch, get some stuff off your chest, get your comments in. We will read out as many as we possibly can. And I'm joined by Robert, Stu, and Craig. I really wish that my mute button was on there. I'm not going to lie to you. Robert, thoughts?
It's a hard one to swallow, really, because as you say, that the starting lineup was probably cost us the game effectively, because the midfield were non-existent for the majority of the first hour. Lundstrom, I'm going to single him out because I thought for the first goal, he's just sort of jogging. A passenger really should have been out to Taylor or even just try to get back in a lot quicker. I thought that was really poor for him. Kamara didn't do too much, and I don't think Tillman was 100%. Tavernier was on him for the whole first half. I don't know what he was on him for. Maybe just getting into positions or getting on men, but Tavernier was on him all game. It's probably the most animated I've seen Tavernier as a captain. So, yeah, how can I put it? The chance for Ken, he hits the post. Sakala's got to do a lot better there. Then maybe you're back in the match. But as you say, I don't think we can have many complaints sitting here full time. We've lost the cup. We're probably out the league, and it just leaves us with the Scottish Cup. We've got to win that. It's unthinkable that we don't win a trophy this year. So Michael Beale, as you say, needs to take a lot of responsibility for that defeat today because of the selection. I'm not going to go too hard on him. As I said to Stu before, I just think that he's made a mistake there, and hopefully he learns for that. You know, if we get Celtic in the cup final at the Scottish, then it needs to be a lot better. So, but as you sit here, as I say, I can't really have any complaints.
I genuinely am fed up with the manager's got to learn for that. Honestly, it's doing my nothing. We said it under Gerrard. Gerrard made the same mistakes, even though, of course, yes, he won as a league, etc. Gio kept making the same mistakes, and we kept on saying the manager's got to learn for it. Stu, Aldo McNaught, 999 super chat. Beale got it wrong. We have Raskin and Cantwell on from the first whistle. We win that game. Maybe we win it, Stu. Maybe we don't. But you don't wait 65 minutes until you change it.
No, and we sort of voiced our opinion in terms of Lundstrom coming in today. That if maybe Lundstrom had been playing up in the build-up, then we could understand him dropping Raskin. To bring Lundstrom out the cold and put him in to if you're risking Tillman, you risk Tillman in his best position. You don't drop him into a midfield three. Was he mad one training session maybe, and you've chucked him in there in a midfield three out of position. That's not what he does really. Getting involved. Felt we played to their sort of style of play in the first half. Lundstrom was so far off the game. It was unbelievable, and Like any manager can get it wrong. Beale is the new manager. We do have to remember that. Like, and I know you say you hate this. He's got to learn from it. He's got to learn from it. Gio was an experienced manager. He's won trophies. He won trophies with us. Beale is not that experienced yet. He's been at Rangers. He knows what's expected. He is going to make mistakes, but There was no excuse for not changing that at half time. No excuses for not changing that. At least one change. Raskin or Campbell to come in. We had no mobility, no energy, no movement. There was just, we looked like we were just zapped of energy in the first half, and I felt like everything they did came from just moving, just taking a couple of steps left or right, and taking us apart. Lundstrom was chasing shadows. He was sort of, half the time he was just strolling about. It felt like he didn't even care he was there, just sticking legs out half-heartedly. The first thing I noticed he did, and I don't know if it was first half or second half, that's how bad he was, but I think he just bumped into a Celtic player and got booked. And that was the first thing I noticed that Lundstrom did in the entire match. He was that bad. And for me, for Beale, he has to identify that issue early on. And Raskin having fatigue or not is by the by. Like, you risk the player in this game. This is the one. This is the game. You have to win this game. So don't play Raskin against Livingston, or give Raskin 20 minutes against Livingston. Don't put him into that fatigue category and then bring a guy that's not played in 3 weeks and chuck him in there, who's not been good all season, by the way, who's been terrible all season, and expect that you're going to dominate the midfield. And we essentially, with Tillman being in the 3 and unfit, we essentially went 3v2 in that midfield, and we paid the price. So for me, I could maybe understand why Beale did it, but for no changes at half time, that's criminal, absolutely criminal.
Yeah, as you can tell, I'm raging, so I'm trying to compose myself before I speak. Led Zapaldo, £10 super chat. Thank you very much for the support. Too many players that have lost this fixture in the past and found themselves to be in the next game's starting lineup. No jeopardy for the mainstays means standards drop. Selection did not help. Craig, we spoke at length before in the build-up about the selection. Roberts had his say, Stu's had his say. Michael Beale's very, very experienced, maybe not as a first-team manager, but he has oodles of experience in terms of working abroad, in terms of working for that many years under Gerrard, in terms of his full kind of football philosophy. Beale knows how to set up a team. Beale knows tactics probably better than most people. Why did Beale not see that was not working? And the only way that game was going after half-time, if we didn't change it, was Celtic scoring again.
Mate, I've got no words. I'm sat here while Robert and Stuart are talking. I'm sat here just absolutely raging, and I have been since full time. Beale has got, loads of experience. He's not a rookie manager, first job in the door. He's got so much experience of football. 8 weeks ago we played them at the start of January, and the tactics second half worked. We were 2 or 3 minutes away from winning the game. Why then we revert back to the tactics of the Gio era of sitting off them and just letting them have the ball? If I never see Glenn Kamara and John Lundstrom in a Rangers shirt again, I'll die a happy man, because they just absolute awful first half. How they both come out second half, I'll never know. I was upstairs and I heard the commentary start, and the first words I heard was "no changes for either team." And I just sort of stopped halfway down the stairs just to sort of compose myself of how the hell have we not made any changes in this halftime break. And I was hoping for a reaction like we had at Ibrox start of January, first 5-10 minutes of the second half, and all we got was a second goal. And then by then it's too late. And the changes that we brought on immediately made a difference. We get a goal back. Obviously, we get a goal back before the changes are made. And suddenly, I think I put in the chat that we needed a goal in that next 5 minutes, because we were on top. They were rattled. They were putting the ball out. They were slicing the ball out. We needed a goal in that 5-10 minutes to sort of put them under pressure. And when we didn't get it, I sort of resigned myself. That's right. It's going to be one of those days. We're not going to get the result. But yeah, I'm just absolutely apt. Thankfully, I'll have plenty of time tomorrow night when I'm out to get stuff off my chest. So I use it as a little bit of a preview here to get this off my chest.
Yeah, Lou Mar, 199 donation. Thank you very much, Lou. Greatly appreciated it. Okay, so Robert, first half, we're not going over the team because we've done that to death. But we all said that the midfield was wrong. But we've got faith in Beale. Maybe he knows something that we don't. Maybe he's going to approach it a certain way. And the only thing I seen before we even come to the goal, the only thing I seen in that first half was poor passing, inviting pressure, the space Celtic had in the middle of the park to do whatever they wanted. Robert, was unreal.
I think as well, though, I just want to highlight, I thought in the first half we got a lot of corners and never seemed to do anything with them. There was that weird one where Kamara took it and then it just sort of all broke down. That was really bizarre. I thought Sakala as well had a couple of wee step-overs in the box. There was another one where he put it in and it got blocked out for knock-on. So I thought we won the dreadful first half. We won the brilliant, but we won the dreadful. I thought we had a good sort of 10-minute spell. Obviously, then the goal comes, and you're getting into the half time on the back foot. But like I say, I think the goal comes for just an error. I've picked out Lundstrom, Goldson as well. He in the replay, he's on up. I don't know what he's calling for. I don't know if he's trying to say that Taylor was offside or whatever. But he's then sold Davis because Davies doesn't know. Then does he go with Maeda? Does he go with Kyogo? He's left in no man's land. And Barisic is always at the back post doing what he does best. So
can I just quickly say something?
Right.
I know I said I wasn't going to say anything about them, right? But Daniel's got a fair point here, right? So we're so bad we can't accept it, right? They had one bad season behind closed doors. This is the bit that I'm happy with. Apparently, I'm as fat as Morelos, right? Now I'm actually fatter, so that makes me feel quite happy. And then, of course, the last bit is just a wee bit of bigotry thrown in. So Daniel, thank you very much for your comment. Your picture, and I mean this, your picture makes you look like your name used to be Daniel, but that's on you. That's on you. Just your picture. Could be anything else. I wish I was the size of Morelos.
J.K. Rowling hosting the pod here.
Yeah. I would love to be the same size as Morelos. Sorry, Robert. Carry on.
No, I just on that. I just think like your team's just won a trophy. And you're on here slagging off 4 times. A bit crazy, but no. So obviously, then the goal. I just think we spoke before the game kicked off about how Goldson and Davies have been and how brilliant we thought they've been and Cam, etc. I just thought Goldson was terrible today. Really, so far off it. Caused problems, and his partner had to mop up several times, which I thought he'd done very well. By the way, I thought like Stu says, I thought he was the best player on the pitch in Rangers jersey. So, and then, as you say, you come out second half, you've not made the right changes. Then the boys do come on that you've been asking for. And I think as much as people are saying they changed the game for us, and they did, I'll hold my hands up. I think as well, we were sort of riding on a wave. The crowd was up, we were attacking that end. Things were going for us in the game that maybe hadn't been going for us 10, 15 minutes before as well. So I think that played a part as much as the boys coming onto the pitch. Because as you said, Raskin had a couple of wee nervy moments. I think there was one where Barisic sold him really short. And you're thinking he's got to win this. And he did, to be fair to the boys. So he'll be all the better for that. I thought Cantwell, again, I've not been overly impressed with him in any game I've watched. And I don't mean that to be a slight on the boy, but I'm expecting a lot more from him. And I just feel like I don't know what he does. I don't know what he brings to the team at the minute. I'm really puzzled by that. So, but I'm sure again, more games and a pre-season will probably help these guys settle in. But Raskin, it looks the part when he came on in a wee spell there. And
I suppose, look, Stu, we did have moments in the first half. We had a couple of wee, 3 or 4 minute spells where I don't really know if creating's the right word, but we put them under wee bits of pressure. We had, like Robert says, we had a few corners here and there, and we just couldn't take advantage of it. And Celtic deservedly lead at half time.
They do, and I said at half time, they were the better team, but I don't think they were the better team through their own fantastic play or anything like that. We were just poor for the majority of that half. We played into that was my big thing. That was my big takeaway. Beale played to nullify Celtic. He didn't play to go and win that game. I don't want to say this because it's really a slight on Beale, and I don't want to go across that because I think he will learn. It felt like we started not to lose that game as opposed to go and win that game. We tried to nullify their threats And I think he put Lundstrom and Kamara in there. I think he hoped Kamara could control it, and Lundstrom would be the guy that could break up Hatate, get in the ball, and McGregor get in the ball. But what they do so well is when they bring these two fullbacks in, it creates acres of space for other midfielders. So McGregor will drop deep, McGregor will get the ball, he'll dictate, and that allows the better players, the technical players like Hatate, to get on the ball and then feed the players to go on attack. It felt like we lined up today to just try and break that up, and we didn't do it enough. But probably because the players weren't fit enough to play the roles that Bill wanted them to play. So it might have been the right game plan, but we couldn't implement that because the players weren't at it. They weren't fit enough to go and actually progress the game to where we wanted it to be. In terms of us creating chances, I think when we did the basic things right, we caused problems. Taylor is not a good defender, and when you put Sakala, so even in the air, even when you floated balls in the air, Sakala won pretty much every single header against Taylor, but there was no one off of him because Sakala's usually a guy that runs beyond. There was that one moment where Tav or whoever it was just slipped the ball in, just told Sakala where to run almost, slipped the ball in behind, and again, end product. That's what you're going to get with Sakala. You're going to get chaos. You're going to get pace, and he can cause problems, but he just the end product will always.
And on games against Motherwell or Dundee United, where you maybe win 2 or 3-0 or whatever, then you can accept it. In games like this, you can't accept it. You just cannot accept it.
When you're going to get multiple chances, you can make something happen.
This is how I felt at full time. I don't know if I'll maybe calm down and see things differently, Craig, right? But Grant McRoberts, £10 super chat on YouTube. Thank you, Grant. Sack the lot. That's how I felt, right? We've been riding our luck for months, and now the luck has run out. Our players do more talking off the park than on it. All I saw were the same bottle jobs as usual. I'm bloody raging. I'm raging, Craig. I'm angry. And there's maybe something in, a bunch of players at our club who have probably lost too much.
Yeah, so I thought you were going to carry on talking. Yeah.
Nothing else to say.
I can't even disagree with anything that he said there. I think it's going to take me a few days.
I mean, I wouldn't sack everybody. That's a slight overreaction. You know what I mean?
It's going to take me a few days, I think, just to sort of... I don't think I was even this annoyed when we lost the Europa final. I think that was just more... This is one thing I'm more annoyed at. This is the fact that we have shown that we can play against them, we can beat them. And again, it's just the same stupid mistakes, the same basic things that they do wrong, and they just don't learn. I'm convinced that most of the team don't watch back the old firm games, because you'd think by now, was it the definition of insanity is doing the same thing again and again and expecting things to change. It's just, I just do not understand how we seem to get a grasp of how they play and sort of counteract it. Scottish Cup semi-final, same thing happened. Next time we play them, we shit the bed again. It's just, I've got no other words. I've got no other words for it.
No, fair enough. I think we're all struggling for words a day. Naf, JM, £1 super chat. Thank you very much. Greatly appreciated. Led Zapaldo's back in. £5. We have to start defensive, because if we do play attacking, you'll find very quickly how many chances our attackers miss. Sakala sitter comes to mind.
Criminal, by the way. Criminal, that chance.
Go on then, Stu.
That, obviously, we do really well. I think, is it Kent that hits the post? It's actually really unlucky from Kent. He gets across the keeper, beats Joe Hart. Sakala has two options there. Put it across goal or put it in the back of the net. There's no other option in that scenario. You cannot put that ball out for a goal kick at that stage. I can't understand. Even if you go half and half, shoot cross. Don't just play it across. Hope someone nicks it in, and if not, hope it goes in. To put that ball, I don't think any other player. Maybe Morelos possibly misses that chance because he's a bit sporadic with his finishing. I don't think another player on the pitch, them or us, misses that chance. I include Beale and Ange in that. I don't think another player does not put that ball back into play or back into the back of the net.
I think that was still at 1-0 as well.
Yeah, it was right at the start of the second half, wasn't it? It It was right. But then, Robert, so we have that chance, right? And we didn't really talk about the first goal, but we'll move on. We have that chance, and you think, right, okay, we've created a chance. It's looking as if, you know, if the manager just hurries up and makes some subs, we can get back into this. And then the second goal is almost a carbon copy of the first for them.
Aye, and I'd pick out Malik Tillman and his involvement or lack of involvement in that, because I felt
like about him in a second.
I kind of felt like he just let Moy do what he wanted. Wasn't really sort of want to impose himself on him at all. And then the ball moves that quickly and freely before you notice in the back of the net. I think as well, Celtic seem to play to their players' strengths. I don't think we do. Do you know what I mean? You hear Coisty on the commentary, and he was saying, like, all the balls into the Rangers' front three are into feet. Nobody's on the turn. Nobody's looking to get in behind. So you're not going to create or cause them any problems when it's all in front of them. They're going to just gobble that up. I mean, you see later on in the game, Starfelt gets sort of pressured and he makes a couple of mistakes. But first half, he's doing like Cruyff turns in his own 6-yard box. Do you know what I mean? And you're letting him get away with that by playing the way you're playing. So I think the manager needs to look at that and think, how am I going to get the best out of these guys? Because you don't want Morelos that deep, coming for balls that deep. You need to get him playing on the shoulder. So Ryan Kent, again, we bigged him up before the game and said how, you know, he had to have a big game. I think that one where he sort of went on a bit of a mazy and you think he's going to put it in the box and he sort of starts going away for goal and hits it on the swivel, and it was just poor. So poor. You guys said that, sort of said in the pre-pod, we don't want to get this guy shooting, and he sort of, it's like he was watching and wanted to prove you right, because he pinged that many high and wide, and it wasn't his day. So just to touch on Sakala as well, like, how can I put this? In a game of that magnitude, I know he's a happy-go-lucky kind of guy, but when you're missing these chances and then you're just laughing about it, I wasn't kind of happy with that.
I think that's just the way he reacts to everything, no, Robert.
Just laughs it off.
Aye, I think that's the way he reacts to everything. Aldo McNaught, if time is a healer, then find me a dealer after that. Fair play to you, Aldo. Absolutely fair play. And Nath back in with a £5 super chat. Lundstram and Kamara were worse than men down. Why did we not fight fire by fire and press them from the off? Beale got it totally wrong today. Yeah, we've kind of discussed that. We'll probably come back to that before the end of the pod as well, to be brutally honest. We'll come to the defence in a minute, Stu, but we get back into we get back into the game just before we make the subs. Normally we go through the goals and we discuss what happened, but it doesn't really feel like that kind of reaction today. But ball into the box and Morelos does well to react. There's not really much more I can say to that.
He does well to react, but he also does something that proves what we all know, is that Joe Hart is not a top goalkeeper.
We'll come to him.
If you get shots at Joe Hart or you press it, I mean, him with his feet, by the way, I know we'll come to, but him with his feet, one of the worst goalkeepers I've ever seen, and that's why Pep didn't want him at Man City. But he does well, he reacts well, and that's what we needed. We needed one of those moments where, and I said it just after the goal, that the ball just wasn't falling for us. I felt at those times when we actually rode that crest of a wave for 5 minutes, I think, after that goal, and then the ball just didn't fall for us. That one that went under sort of Čolak's foot and then Barisic's foot, it just didn't happen for us. But Morelos was that one guy, and we worried about his finishing beforehand. You know, you can't argue what he did there. He had a snapshot at it and he scored a goal. I think we just didn't test Joe Hart enough. And that's what frustrates me. We've got the players to hurt teams and any team. So we hurt Liverpool for 25 minutes before, obviously, they destroyed us. But we can hurt any defence. We can do that, and we have the players to do that. So for me, it was Beale maybe not having the faith in that front line or the whole team in general. I don't think we backed ourselves enough to win that game today. And once we got that goal, I actually thought for 5 minutes we were going to turn this around. And I said 3-2 in extra time beforehand. So I thought this was going to happen, right? I thought I was going to call it bang on the nose. I thought we would get that goal and they would fold. And they looked like they were going to fold. For all them saying, We don't, first whistle to last whistle, we don't hold the ball in the corner. We go for goals. If it's 2-1, we go for goals. They didn't do that. They held the ball in the corner. They were terrified of what was going to happen. And for me, the most frustrating thing about it all was for the last 5, 6, 7 minutes, we literally just gave up the ghost and we made silly mistakes and we just let them waltz through us at times. They probably should have won 3 or 4-1 at the end of the game, in all honesty.
Yeah, they should have. They should have. CGM just makes it the perfect weekend. So this is how the weekend has gone. The Rangers women lost to them 3-0. The B team lost. Scotland lost at the rugby today, and we lost in the final. Totally gash. Yes. I think that pretty much sums it up. What I was looking at throughout the game, Craig, and what was really frustrating me, what really getting to me was, you press Starfelt, you press Hart, they make mistakes. Simple as that. Joe Hart is horrendous with the ball at his feet. Absolutely horrendous. And he gives you chances, he makes mistakes, and so does Starfelt. But we just refuse to press them.
They're awful. Joe Hart didn't have a save to make the whole. I don't remember having a save to make the whole game. The Kent shot off the post, he gets nowhere near it, and obviously the goalie gets nowhere near it. Apart from that, one else he could have basically lay on the floor and just spent the whole night.
He shanked the ball behind them a couple of times as well.
He put one out for a throw in that went out nearly for a corner. He's awful with the ball at his feet. Like Stu said, that's why Pep quickly got rid of him at City, because he knew the way he wanted to play was the keeper with the ball at his feet, and Joe Hart couldn't do it. Joe Hart doesn't get pressured up here because most of the games he plays, he barely has a save to make. And when he does get pressured, like we have done, he shows he's not a good goalkeeper. Starfelt, he's bloody awful as well. I mean, there's a few of their players that I think I said in the chat that a couple of their players, if they're professional footballers, I think at the age of 37, I've still got a chance myself to play professional football. A couple of them are just literally just run head down and that's all they've got. And we make them look like prime bloody Brazilian Ronaldo.
No, but in fairness, Craig, and I have to be fair, Ange sets them up correctly. Ange has them playing, I think Robert said it earlier, they play to their strengths.
Yeah.
And, they've been successful under Ange, and it looks as if this season they're going to continue to be successful. So they don't have bad players. They've got good players, and Ange plays them correctly. That's why they're winning, and that's why we're not.
Well, according to one of the commentators, it's all luck for Ange. He's clearly just very lucky.
That does my name.
Yeah, it just got me. That was the last thing I heard before I turned the TV off, and then it just put my rage level over the top.
By the way, he praised him in that whole interview. By the way, was Beale talking up Ange and what he did as a job, and he just said that he's lucky to work with the finances he works with. Even fucking Tam McManus is on Twitter going, "Oh, how lucky is Ange?" Fuck, mate.
I would say Beale was lucky if he got the what was it, 40 million Ange just spent or something crazy like that. That's no bad at all.
The least I'll say about the commentators, though, there was another comment that one of them made, and I just sort of almost threw the remote of the TV because I was just absolutely raging by the
I genuinely don't know how Ali puts up with it. Robert, Denzel Merrick, 9.99 super chat. Thank you very much, Denzel. And if you haven't read any of his books, by the way, I would highly suggest that you do, because
that's the guy.
Yeah, that's the offer. Yes,
that's the guy. Right, brilliant.
But books are brilliant, by the way. I'm pure tuned into them, and I don't read. So I'm pure tuned into them. Beale said he was buying starters, but he left both Raskin and Cantwell on the bench. The board need to back new players in the summer. Robert, is that likely?
Well, it's going to have to be, because it looks like there's going to be a big turnover in the squad. I think today we've learned that, Kamara probably needs to be sold. I'd sell Lundstrom and just renew Jack's contract, because Lundstrom's not giving anything at the minute. I just think to persevere with him for another season could be detrimental. So Jack came on and looked all right. I think he was in the box at one point, and I thought he was going to fire a shot away, and maybe it got blocked. I can't even remember what happened there, but I thought that was a decent opportunity as well. But no, to go into Denzel's point, I think that the board need to back him, because there is going to be a turnover of players come the summer. There was a comment in the chat there about Morelos, and we need a fast striker. I mean, that comes back to, for me, go and get Kevin Nisbet. Just go and get him. Because I think that's the sort of player I think would fit brilliantly into this Beale sort of formation. Fast, can get in behind, gobble up chances. So I don't think Morelos is going to stay. I really don't. He looked very, very miserable today. I know when he scored his goal, he get quite pumped, but just the facial expressions and all that carry on, I can't be dealing with him anymore.
We need something more now. We need something more than just Morelos. Cammy, £2 super chat. Thank you, Cammy. Shout out to Tillman Header, 15 gifted memberships. My apologies, Tillman. It's not came up and told me that. I didn't see that. So thank you very, very much for doing that. That's amazing. God, the comments are flying in, man. Absolutely flying in. So look, we won't take up too much more of your time, folks. This isn't one of these happy hour and a half reactions where we're laughing and joking and being dead happy. But Stu, just on a couple of individual players, then I don't really want to go too heavy on Tillman. Clearly not fit. There's no way he was fit, which baffles belief at how long he managed to stay on the park as well. But he was playing nowhere near fit enough, was he?
He wasn't. We've had a real issue at centre back recently with injury problems. Today you could see that we had that at least in two of the midfielders. Lundstrom and Tillman was so far off it, and obviously Lundstrom hasn't played recently. Tillman has, but we knew that he was going to maybe have one training session before the game. Now that could be enough. I spoke with Scotty before the game, and he was confident that Tillman would start and he would come up and he would be a big player for us. I think Tillman could have been a big player today, but it probably wasn't the right game. And in all honesty, where we're not going to have 60-70% possession of the ball, it didn't suit Tillman today in terms of a player that's not 100%. You have to be 100% in these games because it's a lot of running. You saw, I think, in all honesty, Maeda for them was poor. He was poor all day, but he didn't stop. Even he technically gets an assist, right, for air swiping the ball that goes to Kyogo for a tap-in. But even like 80 minutes, and I think Koisi touched on it, that he must get plugged in at night. He runs back and he's tackling a boy 40 yards out from his own box. That's the energy levels you need for this game. Everyone needs to be on that, and Tillman didn't have that today. And I won't take it away from him because he's been fantastic for us all season, in all honesty. He's obviously had a dip. He's a young boy. He's only 20 years old. He's going to have those dips. Today, he was nursing a hamstring injury. He got hit in the head early on. He got a knee clatter early on. I think early on you saw...
Which baffles me most as to why the manager didn't change it earlier.
Yeah. So that is the big sticking issue for me because I felt Kamara and Lundstrom could have both come off at half-time, but the big problem was Tillman was nursing injury and then he got hit a couple of times. He wasn't performing well. You have to change one of them. You have to. You can't let all three of them carry on going as they are because it just wasn't working and they were walking through our midfield at times. Change one of them. And you saw the difference when Brasky, Cantwell, when they all come on. I know it was a big change to bring all three on, but it did change it. I thought Jack would have started over Lundstrom, to be honest, because it's a bit of a weird thing to say, but Jack has that experience of being out injured. He can come back from. Do you know what I mean? Like Roof. If Roof was fit today, he would have come on earlier because he can come back and he can play like he's not been away. Jack can do that. Lundstrom and these guys do not have experience in coming back from a prolonged period out of the team. So yeah, it was just a difficult one, and I thought I sort of understood where Beale was coming from at the start of the game. It just, for me, he made huge errors today in not changing that soon enough. And Raskin made mistakes, and Raskin's a young player, of course he did, but he didn't hide. He got straight on that ball and he wanted the ball.
He gave the ball away a couple of times, and then, like you say, straight back on it.
But
A couple of really good passes as well.
If you ever listen to Barry Ferguson when he's not slating us, if you ever listen to Barry Ferguson talk about his actual time with us, he would say the first time he got the ball as a player for Rangers, he gave the ball away 6, 7, 8 times. But he would go and ask it away. I'll give it away again. I'll give it away again. I don't care. Give me the ball and I'll do it again until they start coming off and I can show you the player I actually am. Raskin will do that. Raskin has got the complete confidence in his own ability. He makes the right choices. He doesn't always execute it perfectly, but he's got the right choice in mind, and that will come with maturity. That will come with playing more for Rangers, and hopefully it will come more when we sign players that can actually move and drag defenders around and give him more options. Because at the end of the day, you saw in the first half, we had static midfielders, but they're passing to guys like Robert said that weren't even on the turn. They were literally standing still, stuck in the mud. bringing the ball into even Sakala. You're giving the ball Sakala to his feet. Like he has one attribute as his pace, and you're giving the ball into his feet. He can't do anything with that. So
Yeah,
it's got to be a big learning curve in it for everyone.
yeah, massive. £2 super chat from Billy McCall. Billy, thank you very much, my friend. And we have another one, and I'll let you all guess before I find out who it's from. It is from channel legend
Batch Street's back.
Batchman, John Batch. Thank you very much, John. Do you know what? I don't think we can go, Robert. In fact, Craig, sorry. I think, it's been a horrible day. We've lost a cup final to the other mob. It's not going to be an enjoyable night. People going to work tomorrow, next week. It's not going to be an enjoyable week at work. But can we give a little bit of praise to Ben Davies? I thought Goldson didn't play well. I don't think the back five. Maybe McGregor gets past marks. I don't know. But Ben Davies was probably our best player.
Yeah, Ben Davies was pretty good at the back. The few things he had to do, I don't think he had a lot. In a weird way, I don't think he had a lot of. He wasn't like under constant pressure all game. But the things he did have to do, there's a few times he did sort of save Goldson's skin, save Tav's skin, save Barisic's skin. The first, I just saw someone comment about the first goal. The first goal, I think the ball is just played in ahead of him. Whereas Goldson, I put more blame on Goldson. Goldson's at the edge of the box as a centre half. Why is he at the edge of the box for that goal? Whereas Davies is at least in position. Yeah, I think he was. I wouldn't say he was amazing, but he probably just the best one of a very bad bunch.
Yeah, but just because you say, Robert, that somebody's probably your best player in the day doesn't mean that they were fantastic.
No, listen, everybody watches the game differently, right? That's why these sort of things exist, because if they talk, we all thought the same thing, we wouldn't be on here chatting football. So I've seen people in the comments saying he was dreadful, he was this, he was that. I personally thought he was our best player, and I like watching him play. I think he gets better every week. What I would say is the scatterguns out at the minute, shots are getting fired at players left, right and centre. So sell him, sell them all. It's just it's the heart that does that to you. So I just think it's one of them. You're gonna have to, as you say, to go back to what you're talking about at the start, this loser mentality and all that. You need to just write it off. Take what you can from it, box it off, and get focused on winning what you can now. Because if you dwell on that too much, it's going to harm you moving forward. They're going to be riding in a wave. Had we won the day, then obviously momentum would be high, and you'd maybe have a shot at the league and fancy this, that, and the other. Somebody said in the comments that I'd surrendered, and certainly no surrendered. I'm just telling you how I see it. Do you know what I mean? Again, why I'm on here. But no, certainly I just think that we'll hurt, as you say, going to your work and what have you. But at the end of the day, you're going to just win your next game. And I'm interested to see what the managers actually said after the game, because I've not seen it. Is Stuart no come out yet, right? Okay, so that'll be interesting to see, because it's defenceless, really, isn't it? You can't. There's no way to dress it up. He's going to have to speak, and he has spoke quite honestly up to date anyway. So I'm expecting something decent from him. So, but apart from that, what can you say?
See, be brutally honest with you, and I know it sounds stupid and people might jump down my throat. See right now the way that I feel after a game like that, because we can all see it's different when something happens and it just happens. But you can all see where that game was going wrong. You can all see where that game was going to be lost. I'm not interested in what the manager's got to say after that, to be brutally honest with you. I'm genuinely not interested. Andrew, channel member, £2 super chat. Thank you, Andrew. Whisker away from a Geo-like experience. That's what it feels like right now. That is exactly what it feels like. Right now, Stu, final word to you before we go. Beale said in the build-up to the game that regardless of the outcome, regardless of the result, his job wouldn't be any different tomorrow, and that he's still going to have to rally his troops and do this and do that to get the team moving forward. I think it does. I think it does change a wee bit. I think maybe there's a couple of players that I don't want to say it. Maybe I'm just being a wee bit overreactive, but he's got a big job ahead. I'm going to go down that route, right? I don't want to say something completely stupid and out of order, but he's got a big job ahead anyway.
He's got a big job ahead, and I think we all knew it was leading towards a bit of a summer clear out. There's certain positions that they have to change. I don't think McGregor was at fault for anything today, but we do need a new number one. We need to move on some of the losers in the team. I don't want to say anything. I don't want to say anything bad about them because they've all been good servants, but some of them are serial losers. We need to move them on. I see. A few people are calling out Tab. I actually thought for the first 45 minutes he was probably our best player. I thought he actually dealt with Maeda very, very well. The game changed, and I think this is the difference that Ange possibly recognised the difference. He recognised that Tab was dealing with Maeda, and he switched it up, and then things changed a little bit. But yeah, he's got a big job on his hands. We have to remember it's not his complete team, and it is his team under Gerrard, but that's not his team as a manager. It's been the same team for 4 or 5 years now. That has to change. We have to get rid of this stagnation within the club. We have to get rid of that sentiment within the club that we just do good by players because they've done good by us. There's no room for that in football. We have to get the players. We're Rangers. We have to get the players in that are going to win us tournaments, win us trophies, win us leagues consistently. It's not good to win one league every 3, 4, 5 years. That's not good enough. We have to be winning 1 to 2 trophies at a bare minimum every single season. So he's got a big job on his hands, and I think he's going to be backed to do that job. He was backed in the winter transfer window because we didn't really let anyone big go, and we brought in players. He's now going to, I think, be given free rein to now get rid of some of those players, get rid of some of the injury-prone players, which we've certainly got to change around. Listen, today Michael Beale got it wrong. I'm fully behind him. I'm fully behind everything that he's going to do for this club because I think he will get it right, and I think he's the type of coach and the type of manager that will endeavour to do every single thing he can to get it right. And we're working at a deficit in terms of budget to what they work with, but I don't think we're far behind in terms of player quality. So I think we back Beale. He will learn. He's a young manager that today got it wrong, and hopefully he learns from that, and in the future he gets it right. You're on mute.
Twice I've done it. One in the build-up, one in the reaction. Who do you think needs replaced, Martin? There'll be a show on this on Patreon on Wednesday, and on the YouTube memberships as well. So yeah, what that will do is we'll just have a few beers, chill out, and enjoy the rest of the night. Go and watch the second half of the League Cup final, if you're into English football, etc. But yeah, thank you for watching. It's been shit. Let's not try and sugarcoat it. It's been shit. So by the way, just a quick shout out, and this doesn't really matter at the end of the day, but I thought Nick Walsh refereed the game really well. I don't think he got much wrong, and he actually done pretty well. So yeah, thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe if you haven't already. If you like it, really does help share the show. And if you enjoy the content and you want more, then consider signing up to the Rabble Patreon. The link for that is in the description. We will be back tomorrow night at 7:30. We will have our member stuff all through the week. So if you're subscribed, keep an eye on the community page. And if you're a member on Patreon or on the YouTube, then keep your eye on all the pages as well to find out exactly what's happening with that. So yeah, thank you, Robert. Thank you, Stu. Thank you, Craig. Thank you, everybody, for watching. Everybody who put in a super chat. Everybody who helps to support the Rabble. Not our day, but we lift our heads up and we move on. Thank you for watching, and we'll speak to you all very, very soon.